Welcome once again to the Leadership Lab by Dr. VK. Today I have Mr. Joshua Mwendo, who I had the privilege of working with as I was the Minister of Labor and also Minister of Tourism. So we have a history of about 5 years. So Joshua, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So I know you, but people don't know you. So I would like you to introduce yourself, please.
All right. My name is Joshua Mwendo, Chief Operations Officer for Pechambu. I have worked with the Honorable Minister for the past 5 years, since 2020. Yes. And I'm a father too of a beautiful 11-year-old, born and bred in Malawi, doing my Bay, and also government. Yeah.
No, thank you very much. So you are bragging that you are now doing your MBA. Okay, we get it. But I think, Joshua, on this podcast, we're talking about young leaders, African leaders, because I think the point of departure for us is the lack of leadership. We have a leadership preparation deficit, not only in Malawi, but we feel like this is an African problem. But I think as a young person yourself, what do you think would be the challenges that young leaders have in our country?
Okay, so taking that question, I think the first and foremost thing would be the young leaders today don't want to model after leaders that have gone before them. Most of them believe they are smarter, they've got the skills, but in as much as they have got the zeal, they've got the time, they lack the experience, which sometimes moves or across generations. So yes, we have capacity as young leaders. We have got the wits. Maybe we've got the technology advancement. We lack something that the old guns have, which is networks, resilience, patience. Most of them will wait until they achieve something, and we've got so many examples of the old guys that have waited and achieved. But as young ones, we are a microwave kind of generation.
Mm-hmm.
We want to put it in the microwave, then ding,
It's done. Yeah. So, and I think when we're talking about success, real success can never really be microwaved.
Yeah.
Something that is worth having would take time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe you may, because you have moved, now you are chief operations officer for Pechangu. I would want you to talk about that. But I think before that, you had worked in other portfolios as well. But I think the one that of interest to me would be you working as my assistant. Now, I think maybe for purposes of our audience, Joshua, I met him when he was an intern in the Ministry of Labor. So I've been appointed as a Deputy Minister of Labor, and we had interns. The government was implementing a graduate internship program at the time. So Joshua was one of them that was now finishing his year, because I think each one of them is given a 1-year term.
Yes.
Yeah, so Joshua was finishing. But I think for some reason, I just found him attached to my office. I didn't ask. What happened there?
So I think prior to the appointment of the ministers, I had a nice relationship with the administration of the Ministry of Labor. Skills are very important. So at the time, I had a skill set that the PS, Mr. Joseph Mandija at the time, was very interested in. Even the director of administration was interested in my wits about social media. So I had a close relationship. They would call me, give advice. What do you think we should do? Then I would always chip in. Mm-hmm. At the time, I didn't understand how government works. So me walking to the PS's office was just like walking into any person's office. So I'll just go up the stairs.
Yeah.
I want the PS.
It's called courage.
And the secretary, the messenger would be like,
who does he think he is?
Who does he think he is? Maybe he's related. Yeah. So I think that relationship made me understand some things about.
So you demystified what it is to be a civil servant, because I remember when I was a civil servant working in the OPC at the time, and then I was attached to the Department of Human Resource Management and Development. I requested my boss then to send me to Mbemba. which is now part of the School of Government where you're doing your MBA. I said I wanted to learn how it is to be a civil servant. And we were taught there that when a boss walks into your office, you have to stand up, you have to, attach yourself to the wall and whatever. It was extremely difficult because I was coming from the NGO sector where everything is informal. Now you have to be extremely formal. Somebody walks into your office, you have to stand up, whatever. And then at some point, I was pregnant, but I have to stand up when my boss walks into my room. So it was a whole area of difference and change, but you have to embrace those things. But then I think that you bring in something very important that I also had spoken about in the previous episodes as well, where I was saying that when I was recruited as a project officer for my institution at the time, fresh out of college, I knew how to write reports. I had a skill of writing reports. I could analyze huge documents into very, very small, to summarize documents into small pages, a few pages, things that no one else knew. And I at that time, I didn't know that it was a skill, but I learned it from somebody else. Somebody taught me how to write notes, how to take notes in a meeting, how to produce a report and all of that. It became in handy when it came in handy when I joined that institution. Nobody else had that skill. As a matter of fact, I remember I was sent to the Netherlands for school. They needed to write a report for a donor, and they had to tell me to say, we know you're busy with school, but we have a report that has to be written. So why do you think it is extremely important for you studied economics in college, but you are very good at social media, PR issues and all of that? Why do you think it is important for people to have skills other than what they trained in college?
I think in my experience, skills help you survive because you might learn. Like in my case, I did my economics, I did my psychology, I had my degree. But when I came out, jobs weren't easy to come by. Most of my friends had gotten jobs by the time we were out. I didn't get a job. So I had to find something that I was going to be good at. So PR stuff, social media, websites became a skill that helped me earn money. Then got my internship. In fact, at labor, I was under Department of IT because I knew social media and stuff like this. So yeah, that's how I got to be at labor. And when I was at labor, because of those skills, when you were appointed deputy minister, when they were searching, okay, we need an intern that should be attached to the minister's office and help out stuff, I was an easy pick. I had a history of doing those things.
So you had already established yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the areas that young people don't really want to do. Number one is the audacity to put themselves out there. Because, and especially, so you are a guy, but when it's a female, the trajectory is totally different. Because then people would think they're putting themselves up for abuse.
Yeah.
Or, maybe they're timid, they don't want to speak and all that. How do you think people can navigate around that? Because when you're talking about a young person, we're talking about both the females and the males. How can your colleagues manage those kind of things in terms of now, you have the skill. You don't accentuate it yourself. Nobody else is going to do it for you. So how do you help your colleagues do or achieve the same kind of results that you did?
I think that it comes from within. I mean, if you're going to bloom, like if you're made to bloom, you're going to bloom. But
you're quoting my book. Yeah, you're meant to bloom.
Yeah, but you must. I mean, it's only you.
Yeah.
It only depends on you. If you're not going to do it, nobody's going to do it for you. In my case, I had to stand out. I know my fellow interns at the time were very entitled. They all were saying, we need a job here, give us a job. I had no business asking for a job. All I knew was I'm going to be
do
here.
my time, and then after 1 year, I want to leave.
I want to leave. If I leave, at least I learned something from the government. But yeah, I think.
And then eventually Joshua left. And then now I'm running the ministry alone, and I can feel the gap. And then somebody raises this issue to me, says, you actually can get a personal PR individual to be looking at all these things. You don't have to do it yourself. And I'm like, oh, really? I can do that? The very first name that came to my mind was him. And so I called him up and I said, oh, are you available? He says, yeah, I'm available. When can I start? I said, as soon as you can.
Yeah.
In the next 2 days, he was in the office, and then we were set up for a 4-year journey together that was incredible. People thought that our social media page, both for the ministry and for the minister, were really well managed. But he never started PR. He never started social media management and everything else. But for me, I think that is the whole thing. Now, I want you to explain how you have now transitioned from there. Now you're also an author. I've read your book, incredible. Congratulations, by
Thank
the
you
way.
very much.
So you are now an author. You've authored a book in which you are articulating your 5 years in government, being an assistant of a cabinet member, but also just being in the front line of the government systems, understanding how government works. Because if you're saying that you didn't understand how government operated at the time, I'm sure that after 5 years now you understood exactly how the machinery of government operates. So I want you maybe to articulate those kind of things and maybe your key takeaways.
So I think I'll reflect back to my book when the minister called me. I think I was in Zomba that day, and she was like, "Would you like to be my PRO?" I was like, "Yes." I didn't even. I just said, "When do I start?" So going back to the office, starting to work for her, and uh, understanding how government works. I had a lot of people around me that would advise me, tell me stuff. I had a friend, Simon Kaunda. Was very instrumental. He taught me almost everything from the presidency to the messenger in government. He taught me everything that I needed from diplomacy. Okay, this is how you write memos. He advised me. Then I had Harvey Chigumula. He was a COP, a chief of protocol at the time. Yeah, that's a man and a
I
half.
want to stop you there. Because as you're articulating these things, you know that you didn't make yourself.
No.
We discussed issues of mentorship in one of the episodes here on this podcast, where we were talking about without a mentor, you have no center.
No.
And I also said this statement that I want to repeat here because you have brought this up to say, if you think you know everything, then the universe no longer has interest in you. It no longer has use for you because you have achieved the epitome of humanity. Then you can now go and meet your maker. But if there is a room for you to learn, it means you can still improve upon
Yes,
yourself.
yeah.
You can still impact people in a different way. You impact them today, you impact them tomorrow in a different way, maybe different people and whatever. That's the essence of humanity. And that's what leadership is all about. Where as a leader, you may be gifted in one area, but you know, I have a deficit. You knew. So the first thing that you're saying, the way I'm hearing you, you identified your gaps.
Yes. So much.
That is extremely critical. And then you took steps in filling those gaps from
Exactly.
people that had gone ahead of you.
Yes.
And it takes humility for you to do that.
So I remember because Simon had come back from the embassy, so he knew everything and anything to do with diplomacy.
Yeah.
Harvey was the chief of protocol, and I remember when someone gave me his number, I was like, "Hi, Anka." He was like, "Yes." So I called him. I was like, "Oh, my name is Joshua. I'm the payroll to the minister. I want to see you." He's like, "Come to my office." I met him. The relationship was smooth. I was one of the peers that never had struggles with navigating state protocol events.
Yeah.
Any event, I handled it well because Harvey had.
Yeah. So I would know if I'm going to a meeting. I would if Joshua is not around. So I mean, he's a human being. He gets sick. He gets there are things, and then Joshua hasn't come to work. We have a state function. There will be chaos. I don't have a seat. I don't know what time I'm supposed to arrive. Sometimes I would arrive 2 hours before everybody else and whatever because I don't know. But when he is around, he'll tell me, "Don't leave. Please don't leave. Leave in the next 10 minutes." And I know exact. So if I arrive at a place, I know I'll just look for him. I'll not look for anybody else. I'll just look for him. It means you are so organized.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, Guti, because these jobs, normally you don't get orientation.
No.
You are just supposed to hit the ground running, just like ministers don't. Okay, at least ministers will get orientation. But you get a general orientation, not exactly your orientation about the job.
Yes.
So you are deployed to a ministry. It has a sector on its own. You are supposed to learn the sector on your own. You are trained on general management, general etiquette about the minister and all of that, members of parliament and whatever. But in terms of that sector, you are supposed to learn that yourself. So you sought that help from people, but you really didn't know exactly how to work with me because I'm a different personality. Working with somebody else will also be totally different. So I want you to explain maybe around navigating those kind of things and also because as a as a personal assistant, you're also leading in other elements in terms
Yes.
of the protocols that have to do
With the
with your
field.
boss.
Yeah. So I had an opportunity to buy a book from this. He's Mr. Siwal. He was also previously a PA to, I think, the speaker. Then he also became a PA to a minister. His book is very nice. So I bought it from him. I remember it was 5,000 or somewhere there. Then I read through it. Then I understood, okay, this is how I'm going to do my job. Then, okay, my minister was female also, you know. So I had to also to understand and say, okay, I need to learn how my minister wants her things done, when she wants them done, how. So if you're going to work for someone that is at that office, you need to understand that what you know does not matter
Yeah.
at this point. You need to be an open book, learn as much as you can, understand, because a yes that you knew when you were coming to that office could be a no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, this is government. So
This is
just take a little bit, yeah. But also, I think one of the important things that you have said is about forget what you know. Every office that you find yourself in has its own operations. They call it what? Standard operating procedures. So you cannot use what you knew previously. Oh, this is how this is done, and then I'm bringing in this way. No, this is government. And then at page angle, this is page angle. It's totally different from government. So if you are rigid in terms of what you think you know, number one, you're closing yourself up from knowing. And for me, the leadership preparation deficit, it is coming in when a leader also refuses to know when they don't know.
Yes. And that's a big challenge, because if you just say, I know, then you are done. Because in government, when people sense that you are arrogant and you know,
they will leave you.
They'll keep you from any
They'll
important
leave you.
information.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, I've been in places where other peers would ask me, how did you get in?
Yeah.
Like, I had my own government badge, like coat of arms. Everyone asked me, how did you get it? But because I was open to people, OPC were my friends, foreign affairs were my friends, parliament, all these people, these are the people that built my career in civil service. And I know civil service because of so many people. The PSs were good friends.
So how do you use that network? Because I think previously we discussed in one of the episodes about one of my offices. They used to call me the connection power. If I didn't know somebody in that institution, I knew someone that knew someone in that institution. So they would just ask me, we want to talk to somebody in the National Bank. Who do you know? I would know someone that works in National Bank, or someone whose brother works in National Bank. This social capital, how important is it as you build your leadership journey?
Social capital is one of the best or the biggest assets that you must have as a leader. In my case, because I was working with a minister, then I have people from the private sector that I have contacts with. I have people from outside the country that I've got contacts with, people within government. So some things are easy. Now I'm working for Pejango. I'm a chief operating officer. When I meet people, they know me already. They know what I did when I was a PA to a minister, how I conducted myself, and I can easily move things. I'm having a meeting, I think next week, with a CEO of a bank. We talked because he knew me before, and the relationship I built with him then, and I'm applying it now. He's open. He's like, oh no, let's make this happen. Da, 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 da. So yes, connections are important, but you need to build solid connections. And if you are a Mr. Know-it-all, you're smart,
You can't get that.
you won't get it.
And I think for me, it's just not about building those connections. It's about also managing,
Yes, managing
those
them.
connections. So sometimes it really beats me when someone just calls you because they want something from you. So once you have established those kind of contacts, there's a responsibility that you need to do. So keep in touch.
Keep in
You know,
touch.
so people want to know that this person cares about me beyond just having my number or beyond what my office or my influence or my power can give can do for them. You know, so they would want to know that you care for them as a person. So, because one of the things that I've learned about power is that when you don't have it, you're going to lose people.
Yes.
And I've experienced that even myself. And what that has taught me is about, we are going to discuss this in a full episode about the lonely path of a leader, where in the first place, when you have the power, it is also lonely there.
Yeah.
When you lose it, it is also lonely there. So there are two different types of loneliness, but that I'm going to discuss based on my own experience. So you really need to be very careful. And for me, how to navigate around that is about yourself, your core. What grounds you? Does what ground you have to do with anything that has been given to you from the external? Or does what ground you based on what is internal? Because at the end of the day, who is Joshua? You know, Joshua is not the COO because that has been given to you by someone.
Yeah.
It can be taken away.
It can.
You know, so if what makes you is not grounded in something that is authentic, something that is sustainable, you are going to lose yourself when the power or the title goes. Which brings me back to this idea where you are a personal assistant to a female minister or whatever. How do you think titles impact on a person's personality or their leadership?
I think when a title comes, it comes with benefits and it comes with its own dynamics. I, for one, working for a female minister, it was a very interesting journey because it was a very unusual kind of job because most people would think I would be working for another male minister. But however, for me, it wasn't she's female. It was, this is my boss.
Yeah.
This is the minister. Understand? If she gives me a handbag, and I mean, it's in public, I would carry the handbag. I would not even,
Without even thinking.
I would not even think about it. Like people would say, why are you carrying a handbag? But I'll just carry it. She's
Now that
my
I'm
boss.
thinking about it, that was funny. Because there are photos with you carrying your handbag.
I have so many of those, me carrying the handbag. But yeah, this is my boss. She has the mandate. The state believes she's going to deliver it, and I'm there to help her deliver it at the best, in my best of abilities.
I think before we go any further, there were moments when your job would conflict with other people within the office, because I think working closely with me, you were exposed to some intricacies of my personality that other people would not know.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example of when we have a meeting and then I have a presentation, and then you tell people to say, don't cue the presentation. No, we have to cue the presentation. Hey, what was all the people, everyone? These are high powered technicians, senior government officials, sufficiently knowledgeable.
Yes.
But you are telling them you are just a PA, you're telling them, Woody, you can't cue the presentation.
Yes.
And they're like, what? I want to really understand what you'd be thinking about there.
When I was the PA, I understood one thing. I had authority in that office. I had a mandate that superseded some decisions to some extent. Because if I said or told the PS or any director the minister doesn't want this, by virtue of me being a personal assistant, in the back of their head, they must understand that there's a bigger reason and I'm not obliged to explain why I'm saying no. So, and because I had a good relationship with most civil servants and having worked as an intern, I didn't develop enmity and we had mutual respect, and they respected my decisions. When I say some things, they would conflict. Yes, people would conflict, but at the end of the day, we would come to an agreement. I said, okay, I think this should have gone this way. And I think it's very important that when you are in any working environment as a leader, you must have a buy-in of everyone. I mean, it's
I
important.
like what you're saying there. You're saying that you realize that you had authority.
Yeah, I had authority.
It was not given to you. I don't think it was written down to say, Mr. Mwendo, now you have authority.
No.
Now you have a leader. And I like that.
Yeah.
Why did you think that?
I didn't just think it, but I understood.
It was understood.
It was understood. For me, it was understood because even if I arrive at a place before you and the people recognize me, everybody will say, "Oh, labor, yeah. Oh, tourism, I'll be yes."
Yeah, because even if I come without you, people say, "Where is Joshua?"
Yes.
You know, where is Joshua? So for me, I think it's about you coming into the role. You know, it's not the other way around. You're giving character to the job.
Yes.
You recall that people used to say, "Oh, you are the Minister of Labor. That is a graveyard."
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't.
We rejuvenated the whole thing and changed the minds of people to say, we would ask just one simple question. Without labor, what do you really have in the economy? Without people working, you can have Nike or Gucci coming into your country, setting up factories and whatever. Without people working there, without labor.
Nothing.
Because over and above the issue of capital land, an investor would want to look at your labor laws. It's extremely important. It's an extremely important ingredient of the economic development of any country for that matter. So then for me, the other thing is, as you are navigating your way, you have authority, you are leading in an element. There are some things that you may have observed that you think other young leaders in Africa, in Malawi, in South Africa, in Zambia, may also use. What are those?
I think the number one thing is keep learning. As a leader, you must be ahead of the curve always. As you're learning, also learn from those that are above you and those that are coming. When I was at Ministry of Labor, I think when I was an intern, the messenger that was in my office was Agabulus.
Agabulus, the one we took.
So Agabulus was the one that I would meet first when I come to the office, and should be the one be telling me stuff. Oh, Aujinaja is the labor commissioner. This is what he does. Oh, this one, because the rest of the people would not just walk to them and ask them.
Yeah.
Then above me there was directors. The labor commissioner became my friend. He would tell me, "Oh, labor is how labor works. This is what happens." So learning is the most important thing as a leader. You don't have to stop learning.
And you can learn from everybody.
And learn from everyone. The other thing, I think you need to develop a spirit of patience. Learning is hard, it's different for everyone. You're going to meet people that are so challenging, tough. Some won't just listen. Some will just want to be difficult for
nothing.
Some will just say, who are you? And if you take it to heart, think, why are you saying, who am I? I'm also this. You will fail. Just stay on your lane, push. People will recognize your leadership, and the rewards will come. I became a PA. I didn't even think I would ever become a PA. Then,
so I think what you're saying really embodies exactly what we are trying to do on this program, where we are saying leadership can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
An opportunity can just spring from nowhere. Somebody can just move, and then there's a gap. Somebody dies, God forbid, but it happens.
Yeah.
And then or a position has just been created, like in your case. But you had already prepared for it. The skills that were required for that position were already displayed. I had already enjoyed them, and so when that opportunity came, there was I couldn't think twice about who would fit that bill better.
Yes.
And you are aware that normally when something like that happens to a person, there's a lot of talk.
Yeah.
And I got so many calls. Oh, this boy this boy that, and whatever. And I think I remember confronting you about it. How did you navigate around those things?
I think for me, I've always had I've always known people who talk, people who always come with stories. It's human nature, but what sets you apart or what makes you stand out is knowing who you are, why you are there, and whatever you're supposed to do, do it first and do it best, and the results will show for it. If you are what the people say, it will display.
Yeah.
If it's not, your results will disprove it. So that's how I navigate.
So you're saying that you cannot stop people from talking about you or having contrary views about who you are and everything else, or spoiling your game or doing this.
Cannot.
The only way you can challenge that is by doing what you're meant to be doing.
Yes.
And doing it very well.
Do it very well.
So I think a lot of people expected me, because for me, I'm like, okay, so if I have to make a decision because somebody else has told me to make a decision, then who am I? Then it means I'm not my own person.
Yeah.
I'm being externally validated. While I'm not saying that people cannot give an input into your job or what concerns you, you ultimately have to make decisions as yourself. And also, for me, I do believe also that I think everybody deserves a second chance. Each one of us deserves a second. Can you imagine if we didn't give each other second chances as human beings? You and I shouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, true.
Or then there would not be any marriages.
Yeah.
There will not be any friendships, because as human beings, we are going to differ. We are going to quarrel. We are going to have differences. We are going to speak ill of each other. We are going to do all of these things. But we have this thing called forgiveness.
Yes.
And then we move on. The other thing for me that really keeps me back sometimes would be, I would think through to say, okay, so if he doesn't do it, then who else would do it? Because I do believe that God, in his infinite mercies, made us in such a way that what is good in us makes up about 98%.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect. There's none perfect among us. But we are 98% good. What really is not good, maybe 2%, 1.8, somewhere there. But human nature likes to focus on the 1.8% that overshadows the 98%. So if we could only just say, okay, this person has done something wrong, but he's not a wrong person.
He's not a wrong person.
It's actually a skill, I think.
It is.
He has done something wrong, because he's a human being, but he's not a wrong person. He's actually a correct person.
Yeah.
But he has just done something wrong. He made a bad judgment, this and whatever, and then we move on. Also, because yourself as a leader, you also find yourself making mistakes. You also find yourself hurting people and all that. The key for me is when you realize that you've made those kind of mistakes, you apologize, and then you move on as time goes.